Hi everyone, here I am back again. I don't know, someone is playing bad jokes on me today. Um, I just hope that, I'm just so tired of using these ums. This is going to be a great interview. I know it, and here I am waiting for my guest of today to get online and allow me to invite her to the program to tell me over coffee. As I usually say, if you are in the film or theater industry and would like to be interviewed by me in Tell Me Over Coffee, well, just contact me, send me a DM via Instagram, and we'll just check our calendars and our agenda and book a date. Okay? So, as I said previously, we only have one more day to the weekend, and hopefully we will all be having a great weekend. And but the issue is the issue, and even though I'm just repeating the same word, it's very important that we all are responsible in this situation that we're living. And here is my guest of today. Here she comes. Hello there.
Hello.
Finally. Oh my God.
Yeah,
Finally. All right.
finally. Oh my
Finally.
goodness.
Hey, Nando. Hello, Nando. Nando is a friend of mine. He's an actor from the Canary Islands. He's a great actor. Yeah. And I'm just going to say hi now because then it's just going to be, we only have, unfortunately, we only have 1 hour. So this is going to have to go fast.
Okay, huh? Nope.
Okay. Well, how are you? First things first. How are
Yeah,
you? You're
I'm
good?
doing well. Thank you.
Okay.
Just trying to stay safe with everything going on in the world, as we all are.
Yeah.
And
As
but
we all are. Yep.
yes. And how are you?
Well, I'm doing fine. I mean, I would
Great.
love to be working, but
Yeah,
obviously, I mean, it's not easy. It's not,
true.
and it's not cheap either because I can understand. I mean, I can understand some of the projects that have been on standby, but
Yeah,
obviously they have a budget, and now it's that budget plus
yes.
all the security you have to have for the COVID. So
Yes, right.
some companies, some production companies can afford this and others cannot, and they still
Yeah.
have to leave it on standby. So it's really frustrating. I had a chat before we start all this. I had a chat with a friend of mine today. He's an actor, and he said that he's going very down on his savings,
Oh,
and after his savings are through, he has nothing else.
oh my
and
goodness.
and like him, there are many people here in Spain. I mean, not only actors, it's just everyone
Yeah.
that. And then, well, you know how governments go. You know, they tell you that they're going to help, and they do. But it's just that I don't understand how it can take them so much time to
And
put things working.
yes.
But and so you have all these people here in Spain that the government approved a vital minimum pension, right, during the confinement and the COVID.
Yes.
But it's still in study. Everyone has their own thing, but it's still in study. No one has received a penny yet.
Oh my goodness.
So how are you supposed to be eating? I mean,
Exactly.
set apart paying your rent or whatever, just
Just
eating,
eating.
having I mean, being able to have to pay your electric bills and water. I mean, the essential things that we need.
That's right. Very
I,
simple.
I I don't really know how this is going to end, but to be really honest, there could be a okay, it could be a temporary solution.
Yes.
Well, maybe that's how I feel, and how I would react, and how I would do this is those who do have a lot, they could share a little bit with those who don't have anything.
That's right. That's right. Definitely.
Because
Yeah,
there are people who do have a lot. I
that's
mean,
true.
they have more than, in my case, they have more than 10,000 lives I could live again I would
Yes.
never have that much.
Yes.
So these people could help out.
They could.
I do know it's the government's responsibility. But in the meantime, you have our elders who don't have food. You have children who don't have food, and you have people who don't have food, whether they're elders, kids, teenagers, or adults. I mean, you have
That's
to
right.
eat.
That's right. Like you said, bears necessity. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, whatever. I don't know how it's going in the States, but here in Spain, it's starting to become a political campaign.
Same here.
So it's really shame. It's a shame.
It's
A shame,
terrible.
and so disrespectful for us. It is. It's just
It
oh
is.
my God.
It really, really
Okay,
is.
I don't want to get into politics because otherwise I just get really, 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 really upset. Let's
Yes.
start. So here we go. Good
Yeah.
afternoon to all, and welcome again to Tell Me Over Coffee. Our guest of today is a native of Kansas City, Missouri. She became a film student of sorts and thus began her journey into arts. She has had a love for the entertainment business since being a child. She spent her summers near Oklahoma-Kansas border. And it was during this time that she developed the creative mindset of storytelling and comedy. Watching movies and television became more than just entertainment. It was for her the visual confirmation of how stories should be told and could be told. During high school, she became a member of the National Thespian Society and began her acting career, but took a break from the entertainment world to obtain her degree from the University of Missouri, Columbia, always knowing that she would one day return to her passion. After graduating and moving to the East Coast, she began to actively pursue her passion once again. She took a chance one day and tried her hand at stand-up comedy. It is at this time that she began to write her own jokes and improv skits. This move proved to be crucial in launching her entertainment career in earnest. As an actress, she is known for the following films: Sister Sonia's Prayer Group and No Child Left Behind, The Invasion, Even Almighty, State of Play, and The Inevitable. And the following television shows: House of Cards, The Wire, Veep Bets for My Man, Criminals at Work, Homeland, Mercy Street. In addition to a host of other commercials, music videos, sketch comedy skits, and a long etc. While working on the varied film and television sets, she decided that it was time to pursue a career behind the camera, after seeing that there is a huge gap in the marketplace for films about women and people of color that are non-stereotypical. She establishes her company, COOKIE CARSON Productions, which specializes in screenwriting, directing, film production, and vocalist management, where it oversees the career of fellow actress and songstress Loretta Burnett. As an assistant director, she is known for the web series Swords of Insurgency for Mythology Studios and television series such as His Fire, My Faith for Khazar Entertainment. She is a driven humanitarian dedicated to combining the arts with her charity work. She is a member of Special Project Committee of the Buffalo Soldiers Associations of West Point. Also, her production company has provided management support for her musical artist charitable performances, including Relay for Life, Virginia Union University, Models Against Cancer, Richmond, Virginia, and the Buffalo Soldiers Association of West Point Memorial Fundraising Banquet, West Point, New York. This annual event helps to raise funding to erect a Buffalo Soldiers monument at the United States Military Academy. She has been mentored, supported, and encouraged every step of the way in her career, and she tries to give back by mentoring up and coming actors, directors, and filmmakers. She is involved with gender parity by allowing women to shadow her while she project. Oh my God, I'm so nervous. She is involved with gender parity by allowing women to shadow her while her projects are being filmed. She wants her journey to serve as light of motivation for someone to go after and pursue their dreams, just as she is doing. Early on, she came to realize that visualizing what you want in life is an essential step toward achieving it. Filming and screenwriting is not work, but it is life for her. The creative process is filled with her mind's eye of possibilities. Being on set with the cast and watching your words come to life makes it all worth the rewrites, hard work, and long hours, and she does not shy away from it. First and foremost, she considers herself an artist. She views screenwriting to being central to her job as a director. In her free time, she is constantly writing scripts and plans to use them for future short, feature, and documentary films. Finally, for me, it's a pleasure and an honor to introduce to you guys Stephanie Cookie Carson. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure and honor to be here with you. Thank you.
So, how did it all start? Anyone in your family part of the show business?
Actually, my mother. My mother has done a variety of things in entertainment. One being this would have been in the 70s. She had a modeling troupe who actually put on not just a fashion show, but a whole production show, and actually had models. As an aside, they would model the clothing and things like that. But she's very creative in that way. She wrote several plays for when she was in high school, college. She's always been the greatest of writer. I didn't think I was, but I think she's much better than me. But she's very, very creative in that way. She's an educator, and so she would always write plays for children in her class to do things like that. I have a number of elders in the family who, one of them is a producer of the Trumpet Awards in Atlanta, Georgia every year. And her name is Renona Clayton. She has been active in the civil rights movement for many years, and I've just followed in behind her lead. And I have several relatives also who aren't in entertainment, but they served as huge, iconic role models for me and my family. So I'm very proud of that. And so I'm just finding my little niche in there and trying to pattern myself after the leads that they set for me and the way that they pay for me.
So I would say that you've always had full support from your parents.
Always. I've been blessed in that way. I actually have my biological mother and my biological dad, and then I have a stepmother, stepfather, who are all active in my life growing up and still are. And I'm blessed to have all four of them. A lot of people can say that. But all four of them have always supported me in this journey, whatever it is I wanted to do, whatever it was I wanted to try over the years, they've always been there. And that means a lot. You really need that type of support.
Well, yeah, now that you say it, I mean, it's quite cool. I mean, I don't know of many people who do have two mommies and two daddies. I mean, it's just,
That's
growing
true.
up with all that, it's just a wow.
Yeah.
Wow, it is.
Very
It's
neat.
really, really cool. It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I do assume that you have had loads of love around you,
Yes.
and that usually pays off a lot when you're an adult, and
Yeah.
it does not only pay off personally, but
Yes.
around you, because it's what you give to others, and
That's right.
that's very, very important. And if you have been loved, obviously you will love others. If you
Yes.
haven't been loved, it's a bit harder. So
That's true.
and it also helps you to see life in a different way. It's
Yes.
fully, you are aware of the bad things, but you see it with another glass, like I say.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you first started as an actress, and then
Yes.
all of a sudden, here you go. Okay, I like this, but I think I'm going to try the other side. That I might like the other side better. How was the experience as an actress?
It was great. It allowed me to really learn about myself. Um, I was able to step outside of myself
Mm-hmm.
and just take on totally different personas from what I was used to, or the roles I was playing were so totally 360 from my life. And so it was good from that perspective. And I learned the basics kind of on set. I've
Mm-hmm.
taken classes, acting classes, drama classes, and things like that. But there's nothing like being on set, actually doing the work. Um, and so I learned a lot from that. I did. However, I didn't think I was the greatest actress. And I love being behind the camera because I can be more creative. I think I can be more useful that way. And so I decided to uh, switch and not dwell so heavily on being the actress side for
Mm-hmm.
me, but I know that there are stories that I wanted to tell. And so I needed to learn show business as well because I wanted to be behind the camera more than being an actress. So it gave me a good foundation, most
Mm-hmm.
definitely. Yeah.
What did you okay, about the acting, what did you prefer best, film and TV or stand-up comedy, because it's really really different.
I'd probably say acting. Um, Stand-up comedy definitely has its place, and stand-up comedy prepared me for acting.
Mm-hmm.
If you can do stand-up, you can do anything. If you can get in front of people and try to make them laugh, and these people don't know you, they don't know anything about you, but you're just naturally funny, coupled with learning how to do stand-up, which is an art within itself. Um, if you can do that, then you certainly can get in front of the camera and play another character because you're
Mm-hmm.
really doing that in stand up. And this type of comedy that I did, I just took everyday life stories and experiences and
Mm-hmm.
told them, hopefully, in a comedic way on
Yeah.
stage. And so people were surprised, as a
Mm-hmm.
lot of time I would be the only woman that would go up and do comedy at the different open mic nights around the city. And it might be, on any given night, it might be 12, 15 guys. And so that helped set me apart. Being a woman, um, the audience would be ready to hear what a woman had to say, or a woman's perspective. And
Mm-hmm.
so all those things combined helped me. But I would have to say acting, because stand up can be brutal. You have to be very, very tough skinned. And you have to be very tough skinned with acting as well. But that live audience, it's a whole nother thing. You're getting immediate feedback. And
Yeah.
so I'd probably say acting over stand up, but they're both great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, especially acting. I mean, you can be so many personas and not need medication for it. So that's the
Yeah.
best part. That's the best part of it. You can just be anyone. Yeah,
Yeah, I love that.
definitely. Yeah. In 2012, you wrote and directed and were the executive producer of your first independent short drama film, Water Is Not Enough. And it aired on the Comcast channel in Richmond, Virginia for 3 straight years.
Yes.
Did you change professions, or or do you still keep working as an actress?
Um, I I do in a way, um, and I say that from the perspective of I still do, even as a filmmaker, I still work. I still do background work.
Okay.
because it is a great way to keep yourself involved in what's going on, and networking with other actors is very, very important, and just people in the business, period. And so, as a matter of fact, just a coincidence that a film I did a year ago, which was mostly background work, called Charm City Kings. It comes out today. It's on HBO Max. And I went on that. I took that work just so I could go on and study and learn more, because there's always something to learn, and I get paid to do it. And it's a great way to network. I do it every so often just to kind of get back in there and see how things are going and talking to people, because a lot of times I'm constantly looking for new talent. As I'm writing, I have actors in mind, and I go to those actors when I have a finished product and I'm ready to film. I'll go directly to that person that I may have met on set, maybe 2 years ago or maybe 2 months ago, and we connect. But I'm constantly watching and studying and analyzing different actors to see who may fit for my project. So, yeah,
That's cool.
Ways working.
Well, I mean, I do consider it's a really cool way to get actors on board on in your projects, because you get to know them. You get to know them, how they're working. Yes. Yeah, but see, now you already said it, so now everyone's going to be waiting the day they see you on set. So, okay, let me do my best role, because she's going to be looking for me afterwards.
Right.
You gave it away. You gave it away.
But they have to fit. They have to fit.
Yeah, obviously they do. Yeah. Okay, guys, you have to fit. It's not a matter just of working with her on set because she's just there doing background. You're gonna have to fit anyways.
That's right.
Okay, yeah. What made you establish? What was the reason that one day you decided, okay, I have to create my own production company? And is it a sole person company?
It is, but it is a sole person company for now. But I'm working on building that. I'm working right now with a partner, Andre Walker, and he did my latest project. It's a short. Which line are you in? Andre Walker Productions out of New York City. And he and I are just in the beginning stages of partnering up. He did all my cinematography for my latest project. And but the reason I started the company is because I felt that not enough stories were being told from a woman's perspective, and then if you further break it down, from a person of color. And I said one of the main ways to get messages through stories out there is to start your own, Cookie. You have to start your own, because I know what I want told. I can control, as executive producer, writer, director. I have control over that, what's put out there, and there's a myriad of stories that just don't get told. Some do, but they may not make it to the big screen and to a huge audience, things like that. But things have opened up so much where a person like me can start their own production company. And one of the main ways of doing that was to be on set and learning from being there, learning what a grip is, learning what the second assistant director is versus the first assistant director, so forth and so on. And so I'm kind of self-taught in that way. But yeah, I just felt that I wanted to get my feet wet in that and see, is it something, one, that I can do? And once I convince myself that, yes, this is doable, then it's taken off from there. And I wouldn't change a thing about it. I love that.
Would you say that in the States there are more male production companies than women production companies?
Yes, there are. They're heavily male dominated in the United States.
Okay.
Yes.
But besides the male domination, would you say that most of the financial supports go first to them?
Yes, I'd say so. Overall, yes. It's changing, but it's very slow. Very slow. Um, the gender discrimination is heavily prevalent, and it's been there for a good while, and it's good and established. But there are strides that are being made to try to make that change and make it so that women are given equal chance, because women are viable and they are just as talented and educated and everything else and creative as men are.
Um, as you said, and as I said, I mean, the reason was two: one, because there aren't many women producers, women directors, and two, because you wanted to tell stories of of Black people that are not told.
Yes.
I want to ask you a question because someone told me this the other day. I saw a remark on in one of my interviews, and this person said that in order to write a story of a Black person, you need to be Black. Okay, I can understand that up to a certain point. You, as a director, as a screenwriter, you are going to do all the investigation you need to do to create a story.
Mm-hmm.
Because my question is then, and then you correct me if I'm wrong, if I'm going to write a story about a woman who is raped, do I have to get raped?
No.
Okay,
No.
so
No.
that's my answer to that question.
Right.
Okay, I can understand that the feeling is completely different because I mean, I'm white, I'm not Black, obviously. And it's just like, but there are, Spike Lee has written so many films for white people.
Mm-hmm.
He's not white. How does he know how a white guy feels? It's a story. Now, if you're telling me these are true stories that need to be told, I can understand that, yes. And obviously it's better if you know those stories. It will be much easier. It's just like as if I told you, why don't you write about a Spanish story? So I don't know. I mean, I don't really know a lot of Spanish things. So it would be better if I wrote them. But I can totally understand that if these are true stories that need to be told, I can understand it. But if we're talking about, generally speaking, I'm just writing a story, a film about, well, Black people, white people, whatever. I'm just writing a story. I'm telling a story that I have just made up.
Mm-hmm.
Do you really think that I have to be Black to write that?
9 times out of 10 in the United States, yes.
Why?
And the reason I say that is because a lot of our stories have been told from a white perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And it really isn't so much about race for me as it is cultural differences.
Mm-hmm.
And so when Martin Scorsese did his films, they're from an Italian cultural base. And generally speaking, the writers, screenwriters, will be of Italian, but not across the board, Italian descent. But what happened is a lot of times those same writers, and I'm just using Italian descent as an example, are hired to write African American stories in the United States with no input from the African American culture.
Okay.
And so a lot of times when you hear that, people of color have been shut out, and you'll hear the term a film that is supposed to be about African Americans has been whitewashed, as the term that's used, because it's it's written from, it's lacking the cultural nuances that belong in the film.
Mm-hmm.
And just because you have an entire Black cast does not mean that it is a Black film. I don't believe in that.
Yeah.
It's just a film.
Yeah, true.
That type of thing. So that's kind of more of the difference is, unfortunately, it's the racism has been so prevalent,
Mm-hmm.
and this is changing now too, that would make a person of color make a statement in that way. It's
Yeah.
so very loaded. It's a general statement, and it's so very loaded, but anybody can write anything. It's just, I don't know about all the cultural nuances of West Indian people.
Mm-hmm.
I can do all my research. It would be better, I feel, to get a West Indian writer if possible, but it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be. It's just that in this country, it has been something that was taken. It was just, I would say people of color were not allowed a seat at the table
Yeah.
to put their input in. And so as a result, there are a lot of films that showcase us, but they're not real.
Okay.
They're not real. The cultural aspect and dynamic has been totally removed. And,
Mm-hmm.
and I hear so many people, even audience members in certain films, oh, that's not us. We wouldn't say X, Y, Z, or we wouldn't go to this place, or, that type of thing.
Well, I think that's just because the writer, the director, the producer, the whole crew are misinformed. And the best way is you just investigate them. It's just like doing homework.
Yes.
When you have homework, you go to the library and you study and you search for everything, and that's how you prepare your essay.
Exactly.
This is the same thing. And that's
exactly.
because there's a poor job, previous job done.
Yes. Yes.
But it's not a matter of being white, black, or yellow to write about a story.
No.
It's a matter of being well prepared, having the correct information. And
Yes.
if you doubt of your information, just go on and ask a black person, or go on and ask an Indian person, or go on and ask a Spanish person. Is this true? Is this the way it is? And not just go on and I'm just making a film. No, you have to really take care of your project the way you would take care of a child. So you give all the best. You want the best for your child, so you want the best for your project.
Exactly.
And well, there, we agree. Great. Thank you so much for this clarification. Now I have this heavy load off my back. I just thought I was saying something wrong, and all of a sudden I saw this comment. I said, "Oh wow." Okay.
No. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So in 2014, sorry, we're going back. See, I just got all lost. Okay. Wait, hold on a sec, because I think okay, no, I was going the right way.
Mm-hmm.
In 2014, you, as I said, you produced and you wrote and you directed Water Is Not Enough. It's quite cool because when you put the letters alone, it's wine. So it's quite cool. When you wrote and filmed the short film, did you already know a feature film was going to follow?
I had hoped so, but I didn't really put a lot of stock into it at the time. I put the short out and I said, let me just see what happens. This is my first stab at officially being a screenwriter, putting a film together. Let me just try it and see. And based off of the responses I get from that, once it aired, people wanted to generally know what happened to the characters. Are you going to do a feature film? I would love to see it. Things of that nature. The more responses I got like that, it encouraged me to go ahead and expand it into a feature-length film.
Mm-hmm. Did you get financial support, or was this all done by yourself?
A vast majority was done by myself. I did get support from family and friends in that, and that helped a whole lot. And it was, I don't want to give anybody the false impression. It's tough to come up with the funding for the film.
Mm-hmm.
It was, but it was doable. And so you just, once you're passionate about what it is that you want to do, it's not work. And so I set about trying to pull all the resources I could to make it happen. And so, but yeah, it was mostly me.
Do you consider crowdfunding better than knocking at important companies asking for support?
Oh, good question. It can be if the right people, everything is contingent upon the right people supporting you.
Mm-hmm.
Either way, I think with crowdfunding, you take a little more of a chance if you're not well established. It's hard to get people on board and want to finance your film. It can be done, but I feel it's much more difficult. And then some people might say, on the flip side, it's harder when you're asking family, friends, and it is hard. It is hard. It's something that I don't want to do going forward. I don't want to keep doing that. I would wish that I could get a financier for my project and not have to go to family and exhaust all my savings trying to do, so it's tough either way. Either way, one or the other, it's tough.
With oh my God. Excuse me. Sometimes I forget my words.
That's
And
okay.
this happens, and those people who speak more than 2 languages, they understand me.
Yes.
You forget words, and you can't remember how you say it in the language you're speaking. You have to just say it in another language, and then you just cross your fingers that the other person understands the other language too. So it's just so hard at times. Did you get your payback after it was seen, in screens and big screen?
A little of it. And when I say little, less than half of what I put into it. But I didn't want to sell the film short in any way when I say this, but I had certain expectations going into it being my first feature.
Yeah.
And so I knew that this was not going to be $1 million film or anything like that.
Okay.
And so I didn't expect that, but I did it for the love of it and to get exposure.
Okay.
And sometimes when you're starting out, you have to get your feet wet. I'm trying to say a lot of times you do that way. Mm-hmm. And it's about exposure. You don't expect to make the money. If you do, all for the better. But a lot of times that's not going to happen because a lot of people don't know who is Cookie Carson and why would I want to see her film and why would I spend money seeing her film. But the more exposure you get through various ways, then each time you do a project, your exposure hopefully will broaden and more people will see, and you can hopefully get more people on board that way.
Wouldn't you have considered it better, talking about exposure and people getting to know you when you're not a very known personality in the industry? Wouldn't you have considered it better to do more short films, presenting to festivals in order to get more more known in this industry and more visibility and all this before going into the feature film?
I don't think so. I think as long as you're working, whether it's a short or the feature, it's exposure nonetheless. And for me, I felt I needed to get my feet wet with a full-length film. What does that involve in its entirety? And it was a lot, as I was wearing several hats with writer, director, producer, with that. But I learned a lot as well. And so I did, the first one was a short, second was full length. Now I've gone back to a short. And so I've gone back to a short primarily because of the cost of it, much less than doing a full feature. And so shorts allow you to get that exposure, yes, and you can do a number of shorts because you're not spending the same amount of money. Less locations, less cast, less wardrobe, all of that. And it is a good way to get several projects out there quickly.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Yeah.
Going back to getting your feet wet, did you get it to your ankles or to your knees?
I got my feet wet over here.
I can imagine. I didn't want to go higher. I just went down to the knees would be the maximum. Okay,
Yeah.
you got all wet.
Yes.
Fully wet down
Fully.
from the top to the bottom.
Fully.
Yeah, but how was the experience? Okay, set apart, the bad part, but how was the experience? Did you enjoy it? Was it what you were expecting, or was it more?
It was more than what I expected. And the number one thing that I pulled out of it for myself was that it is definitely better if I can focus solely on directing, and not wearing so many different hats.
Yeah.
Because it was too much, and I got pulled in too many different directions, and it broke my concentration a lot of times when we were filming scenes, because I'm focused on, oh, was that the right wardrobe? Did the script actually say this, and so I got a up close and personal experience with why it takes all the people that it does to do a full length film. And I've always been a person that watched the credits, even as a kid, and I loved movies as a child. I would always stay at the theater and watch the credits roll. I was just like enthused with how many people it takes to make a film. And so I learned that it was a good lesson for me, but I love the creative side as well, because your film is your baby. It's your project, and you treat it as such with kid gloves. And so everybody is relying on you for everything, yes, but in the end, you have this overwhelming sense of achievement because you tried it, and now I see what that's like, and I can do another one when I'm ready. But I know that I need to stick to directing. I need to stick to just the writing part or the producing part, whichever it is. And if I can, hire other people to fill those other jobs for me, so I'm not pulled all over the place.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with you.
Yeah.
Okay, you have been awarded with the Bronze Award of Excellence in Filmmaking, Spotlight Film Awards, for your most recent project, Which Line Are You In? Having recently received 5 nominations from the World Music and Independent Film Festival. Tell us about this project. How did the journey start from creation to filming?
Well, actually, I wrote Which Line Are You In about 8 years ago. And I've just been holding on to it. I said I'm going to film it one day. And I actually, I was in, let's see, this would have been 4 years ago. I was in Wilmington, North Carolina for the Wilmington Film Festival there, and I submitted my feature film there, Water's Not Enough. And it was an official selection. And so while there, they had all the filmmakers stay in housing, in which was provided by one of the local colleges. And so that gave us an opportunity, all be in one huge house. It was kind of like a hotel of sorts. And long story short, I met Andre Walker of Andre Walker Productions. And he had a film there. There was official selection. We talked. He looked at my work and said he wanted to work with me. And did I have anything that I wanted to film? And I said, well, I sure do. I have a script, a short, called Which Line Are You In? So anyway, we got back. He went back to New York after the film festival. I came back to DC, came home, and we talked. And one thing led to another. I sent him the script. He wanted to read it, and he said he would do it. And I said, are you serious? You really? You will film this for me? And he said, yes. And so we talked for about 9 months total before we actually started filming. And we filmed it here in DC area, and he came down, and the West was history. He thought it was a great piece. He thought it was well written. I thought he's an excellent cinematographer, and we merged well. We worked well together, and we became fast friends from that. And so we've got 2 or 3 other things that we're going to be working on in the future together. So, but that's how it came about.
You once said that a major part of achieving my goals is knowing what those goals are. In the past and present difficult times for women who are behind the camera, how do you get to know where you are going, what you need to get there, and how to achieve it?
I think, first of all, it is knowing yourself. Realizing what that is that you want to do, whether it's filmmaking, basket weaving, it's you want to play sports, whatever it is. Once you are in line with what it is you want to do, then go about setting the goals to make it happen, to raise yourself up to the highest level of what it is you want to accomplish. And just in life, period. And I try to apply that to filmmaking and just entertainment business as a whole. I'm constantly learning. That's one of my goals. Always, always learn and listen and visualize and see what it is. And when you see what it is, by putting yourself in the environment, like I did, I was very, very willing to do extra work or background work. That didn't bother me at all. A lot of people don't like it. There are long hours, this and that. But my goal was, if they're going to pay me to be background and I get on set and they don't call me for my scene for almost 8 hours, but I have to be there, then I'm going to learn while I'm here. And I'm going to talk to the caterers, and I'm going to talk to the grips, and I'm going to talk to whoever else I can talk to learn. And so you set those type of goals, and then that lays the foundation for going after what it is you want to accomplish.
Good. We were talking about that, unfortunately, we live in this industry, we live in a male industry. And us women, being whether we are actresses or film directors, filmmakers, scripts, whatever, on the other side, whatever profession on the other side of the camera, we are sort of like, just pushing ourselves in to have a small space if they allow us to have it. And we do have it, but the thing is that sometimes I have the feeling that it's sort of like, okay, here you go, here's your space, now you have your space, okay, now you play around with your dolls and leave us men do the things. No, if we requested that space is for something. It's not to play dolls. It's to not, we don't, I'm just so tired of hearing day by day professional women who are constantly saying that we need to prove. We don't need to prove nothing.
No.
And if there's one person you have to prove something, is yourself.
Right.
No one else.
Right.
So
yes,
we are here because we have something to say. We have a story to tell.
yes,
We have a story to put into visual effects.
yes.
We have a story that needs words and it sounds and everything. After saying this, we know that we are a very small amount. Not, I'm talking worldwide, but
Yeah.
going back to the States, and you being a person of color, do you think that once we've passed through that gender problem, do you think that the fact of you being a person of color, you are underrated from a white woman?
Underrated from her, as in
Underrated.
same skills.
I mean, you're two. Let's say there's two jobs, and there's two directors, two filmmakers. One is black, one is white. I'm talking about women, and well, maybe they'll give her more. She will be more favored than the black woman.
Yes, it has. Yes, yes, just automatically by skin color.
Wow.
Alone. They don't know anything about either one of us. Automatically, they will default to the Caucasian woman. Automatically in this country. Yeah. Yeah. Things we're trying to work so desperately to change that.
Yeah.
And we shouldn't have to prove, like you're saying, no one should have to prove, but your work can stand for you itself. As a person of color, woman of color, I can do 10 films that make $1 million a piece, but the Caucasian woman can do 2 films and they only both total $1 million in proceeds. Automatically the difference and everything will lean toward her because of the color of her skin. Yeah.
Wow.
Systematic racism is prevalent here.
It is, but the worst is that I can understand that when people of color want to make their own stuff and want to finance their own stuff, but then it's like I say, we want to really be at their level. What I'm talking about is that, okay, you're not giving it to me because of my skin color. Well, it's up for you. I'll find the finance somewhere else. But it's okay, I think I'm just getting lost a bit. Lately, there's been so many things going on with people of color in the States that my fear is not that we all blend into being humans, it's what we are. We are all humans. We are people, not this color, that color, whatever, or this religion or whatever. But into going back in time and creating ghettos. But I'm talking about not only physical ghettos, I'm talking about industrial ghettos, I'm talking about financial ghettos, and we're going back. We're not moving forward. And that's something that, and I do know that, I mean, I have fellow Americans that white, Caucasian, blanquitos, I mean, call them whatever you want, that they are against ghettos, they are against racism. And I mean, for me, it's always been something difficult to understand when I was in the States and I was studying, because I come from a country where there was 3 religions cohabiting together, the
Okay.
Muslim, the Christian, and the Jewish.
Okay.
And I come from a multicultural family.
Mm-hmm.
And when people would ask me in Dallas, in Austin, in school, in high school, they would say, "Where are you from?" And I would say, "I'm from Morocco." "Oh, what's that?" "Oh, it's a country northwest." And oh, okay. You're African? How come you're not black? Excuse me? Well, not all Africa is black. And when I saw so much racism, it was a shock to me because
Mm-hmm.
I'm not used to that. I
Yes.
wasn't used to that. I wasn't brought up that way. In Morocco, you have black people who get married with white people. It's a natural thing. It comes natural. Or a Christian lady with a Muslim guy, or with a Jewish. It's natural. I grew up with that. So when I saw all this, and when you have all this information, that the United States it's the land of the dreams, where dreams come true, all possibilities, and this and that. They sell you this MGM film about the United States, and when you're there, you see things that you say, okay, this is not what was in the film that you were selling to me,
Right.
and I'm not used to this, and I don't like this.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it's quite I don't know. It's really, really, for me, it was shocking, and it still is not that shocking because I mean I'm a grown woman now, but for me it still is unacceptable.
Yes.
That at the stage, at the century that we are, that we're not moving forward with this. We're going backwards, and I don't know. It's just so difficult for me. So how do you guys face this? Because I'm sure that your co-fellow director, Caucasian directors, female directors, they're not, they don't agree with this. But
Mm-hmm.
obviously, when you come, it's just like when they would come in the 40s or in the 50s, they say, okay, either you take it or I'm just going to throw it away. I'm not going to give it to her.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And you're there, okay, what am I going to do? Am I just going to say no? I'm going to reject it. I'm not going to be able to do my project either. Well, sometimes it takes that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not doing my project. No, thank you. I don't know. I'll just see if family and friends can pitch in. And if we can't make a big, huge film, we'll make it a smaller one.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're not going to give it to her, I don't want it either.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, I think that we humans have become, as I say, technology has been moving forward at the speed of the light.
Right.
But humanity has been going backwards.
Right.
And we have become very individualistic. We are no longer society. We have, you remember that film, that comedy film that De Niro did about, the parents of her parents and his parents. And
Oh, yes.
okay, well, we're talking about the circle
Yes.
of trust.
Yes.
Who's in the circle of trust?
Mm-hmm.
Me, my husband, my kids, my grandchildren, my brothers, sister, my uncles, and not that's it. Not much more. The rest, well, it's not my problem.
Yeah.
What can we do to change this? What do you think we could do to change this? There must be something we can all do, chipping in, to make this change. But we're not talking about only about changing because of color. It's changing because of change. It has to be changed. Film has no gender.
Right. Exactly.
A director has no gender.
Mm-hmm.
The whole industry is genderless.
Yes.
So we need to have a change here. We need to make a big change. We need to have these people who are still old school change their chips in their heads, right?
Yes.
Because
Yes.
what we are here spending days and air in our lungs and discussing and fighting for our future generations, telling them that we are all equal. That is not true.
Mm-hmm.
We are not all equal.
Mm-hmm.
Somewhere along their path, they will find a moment in their life where they will not be treated equal.
Yes.
So we have to quit saying we are equal. No, we are still in the phase of being equal, but we
Yeah.
are not equal. Because
Exactly.
not because I can vote makes me equal and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
Why do I want to vote if I can't do everything else?
Mm-hmm.
Well, this is for everything. So what do you think we can do? Hey, we could even create a movement. What can we do to change all this?
I think one of the big things is like when my case starting my own production company, I start pulling in people like-minded, whether they're male or female doesn't interest me as much as are they able to do the work and produce the type of work, and we all like-minded, headed toward the same goal. And then when I decided to start my production company, Cookie Carson Productions, I made it broad because I wanted it to be filmed primarily, but also I expanded it, and that's where vocalist actress Loretta Burnett enters into the picture, because I also manage her singing career.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but she and I met on the set of The Wire, and we were both doing background work. We became fast friends with that, and we gelled because we were very like-minded.
Mm-hmm.
And wanted the same things from the entertainment industry. And so I said, as our friendship grew and we became closer, we got to know each other. And I told her, I said, I'm going to write a film and you're going to be the lead one day. And she and I met back in 2004, and spring forward all these years to 2012. And that's exactly what happened. She was the lead in my first short and then my full feature film. But I bring that up to say that this is the type of thing that I think needs to happen, is that we don't have to work inside of a bubble of Hollywood. I never felt I needed to move to Los Angeles to do what it is that I want to do. Mm-hmm. Because like you've been saying, technology is so open now, and it's just growing by leaps and bounds. And even this interview that, we're doing internationally, who would have ever thought? I think things like this that start and give us a good foundation for laying the groundwork for the change that needs to come. So it's not so heavily male dominated and so heavily Caucasian or whatever, however people want to say it. It is just people making good quality film and television and music or whatever else that there is. And so I think there is a groundswell movement here in the States where people are doing that on their own. And they're starting up. Okay, so you won't give me money. This person won't give me money. There's other avenues. It's just finding those. Starting to do things like that. And it's going to take time to do, because we have to undo a lot of thinking that's been passed down, a lot of ways that have been passed down that are just out of, they're archaic, and they need to go. We need to change and evolve. As the world is evolving, we need to evolve as well. So I think that's one of the things I'm trying to do. But I'm sure there's some other things that I can do as I'm growing myself and as my company grows. And so, but it helps a lot to have, even though technically I'm a one-person company now, but I can partner with an Andre Walker. I'm partnering with Loretta Burnett, and it helps all of us. It helps all of us. So I love that. And being able to network. I never would have come across, our paths may not have ever crossed without technology.
True.
And so things like that. And we're taking how we met, and we're taking it to a whole nother level now, becoming friends in what it is that we're doing, what it is that we're trying to do. So I think a lot of it starts there as a foundation, but it takes time.
No, yeah, it does take time. But then I don't know what you think about. Okay, I understand the frustration that us women have with male society.
Yeah.
We're talking about working, right? We're not talking
Yeah.
about other things. I mean, don't everyone get me wrong. I'm just talking about work here. But it is true that some women, or maybe a lot, they just come to the point of saying, okay, well, if I'm going to have to do it by myself, or we're going to have to do it by ourselves, right? If we're going to have to get out of this by ourselves, then we're just going to be us. We're going back to the ghetto things. Why? Why would I create an association where I only allow women? Why? If I am fighting against a male thing, 100% male thing, why on earth would I create an association for professionals of our industry where I would only allow women?
Exactly.
No, I can still be a feminist and fight for my rights as a woman.
Exactly.
But no, I want a 50-50. I don't want a 40-60. I mean, this is not a business. This is not, okay, I'll chip in 70% and then you chip in the rest. No. We're talking about, if we're going to be working together and we are going to be getting together to unite and make this huge thing work, it's only going to work if we are 50-50. It can't be 51.
Right.
It can't be 49. It has to be 50-50. It's the only way.
Yeah.
So I would love for all these women who don't see it that way and all these men who don't see it that way, that this is the only way.
Yes.
It's the only way. And obviously, it all comes from home. You have to start from home, the 50-50, and then you have to continue in school, the 50-50. But you have to continue at work, and you have to continue everywhere in society. Obviously, it is important that you start at home, but you have to keep going on with the 50-50. I mean, for me, it's not good. Just imagine we start this 50-50 and all of a sudden we come to the second phase and they say, oh, come on. Well, hey, listen, for a percent. Well, yes, a percent is a lot. If you take 1% in the human population, that's millions and millions of people.
It's a lot of people. That's right.
So it does matter.
It does.
It has to be a 50-50.
And it's I think, and in this country, we as African Americans have, for generations, we've taken that, just what you're explaining, and it is our lifestyle. It is how we do things. I'll put it this way: if African Americans in this country really showed up to the point of being vindictive, I'm going to get you, what you did to my ancestors and this and that and the other, the United States would not exist.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
People of color took the higher road, which was,
because that's not the solution.
And said, we can do this together. That's what my aunt, who was the founder of the first plaintiff in the Brown versus Board of Education case, Topeka. That's what she wanted, for everybody to get an equal education. It doesn't matter who you are, where you come from, what skin color, nothing. What your religious beliefs are, it doesn't matter. Everyone has a right to education. True. And it's the same thing when it comes to entertainment, to me. That's why I'm working with Andre, as well as Loretta and anybody else and others that I'm working with. It's not all women.
Yeah.
It's not all women. And I agree with you. It can't just be, okay, all the women get together, go over here and do the thing, and all the men get together and do it all the way, because we're missing so much that we could garner from each other, because men and women think differently. We create differently. But we can come together and learn to appreciate each other's differences.
Absolutely.
That's the main thing. That's really the crux of the civil rights movement in this country is, how come we can't do this together? Why does the color of a person's skin, why is it so intimidating in this country that it would make, you mentioned earlier, you're talking about MGM, the movies from the 40s and 50s. I was just amazed when I found out that a lot of those films, especially the ones that were musicals, the stars were not singing. It was African American singers, and their voices were dubbed in.
Wow.
And it's like, and these were the big, like Gone with the Wind movies, stuff like that. Even though it's not a musical, but the ones that were, they were mostly African American actors, I mean, voiceovers, who were doing the singing and the vocal for that. But you never knew that until in the last maybe 20 years, if that. Why was that so hush hush? What was the big deal? And a lot of the prevailing thought was, we cannot give credit to a person of color. No. Only Caucasians are this talented, or this, whatever the case may be. And that's not, it's across the board. No matter where you come from, what walk of life, hue of skin, whatever it is, everybody has a talent, no matter what that is. And we're all good at it. And there's some things that we're not so good at. It just depends. But back to your original point, that I wholeheartedly believe in that to be a mix, male and female, if you can have across the board, if you can have Asian writers on the project, if you can have West Indian, if you can have Latina, if you can have African American, and if you can have Caucasian, from all walks of life, you're going to have a much more rounded script.
And a richer one,
production.
too.
Okay, yes. Yeah.
It's going to be very rich. Yeah.
Yes, very rich.
My point is, I still don't understand why they can't see this picture.
Yeah. Don't want to.
That's another thing.
Don't want to.
Because, okay, I think that there's one thing that men have always, and I'm speaking generally, and if I'm wrong, you just correct me. But I think that generally speaking, men are always afraid that if they share half, but it's quite funny that they are afraid of this, because then they are giving us the righteous that we are stronger. But it's ridiculous, because how many women who have had the pan on their hands and they haven't done a thing,
right? And
they have let them do it. But it's this feeling inferior. I don't understand why. Why do they have to think this? I've never felt, I mean, myself in front of another guy or a co-worker, I have never felt myself, oh no, I'm superior to you. No.
Right.
And then there's one thing, okay, it might be stupid to use this as an excuse, but for God's sake, we give you guys to birth. Of course, we need you guys.
Right.
This is how important the 50-50 works.
Right.
Without you guys,
it
we couldn't give birth. But
That's
without us, you guys couldn't have children. This is how important the 50-50 works.
Yes.
And this is how it has to work.
Right.
But then I see people, for instance, in the States, that we're talking about people of color in the States, but then you have, this is, okay, I maybe I'm wrong, but I think you guys have two problems. You have the people of color, and then you have the people of mixed color.
Yes.
And Asians with Black people, with Latinos, and then
yes,
I think that they even feel worse because they really don't know where they fit in. Because for a Latino, no, you are Black. No, for a Black, no, you are Latino. And then for all the Caucasians, I don't care what you are.
Exactly.
And that's so ridiculous. You are a person.
That's right. I
don't care what color you are. You are a person.
That's right.
And I think that we should all work forward to this and make this change, because unless this doesn't change, I mean, I think we are bounded to, just to exterminate, just like dinosaurs.
Oh yeah.
That's it. It's going to be the end of the human race.
It's true.
Which is the only race we have, really. I mean, people just get it wrong. There's only one race. It's the human.
Right.
And then there are ethnicity and different cultures, but we are only one race.
That's right.
Whatever. We'll try our best. At least, as I say, I'll try my best, at least from home, to do it. At my place, there has always been gender equality, and it hasn't changed ever. I was brought up like that, with gender equality in my home, and well, not my dad, but on my place, I mean, I have a son and a daughter, and they have been raised up the same way, equally.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, people would ask me still, how come you allow her to come home later and not your son? I said, well, because she's older.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, stupid question. Well, she's older. He's younger.
Older.
That's it. It's simple. It's just an age question. It's just whatever. Okay. I don't know how it works in the States, but for instance, here in Spain, our professions in the industry have been, how you say it, masculinized and feminized.
Okay.
So we have men's areas, which is production, direction, screenwriting, music, doc, editing, sound, special effects.
Okay.
Women areas, wardrobe, makeup, and hair. How does this work in the States?
Exactly the same.
Oh, great.
The only thing I would add in the States is for women side, casting. Most casting companies are headed up by women.
Mm-hmm.
But those three, it's the same breakdown. The other ones, production, writing, screenwriting, special effects, heavily male dominated in this country. Yes.
Okay. Well, you see, fellow ladies, Spanish ladies, it doesn't only happen in Spain. It happens in the States too.
Oh, most definitely.
Yeah, we're gonna have to start changing that too.
Yes.
I mean, it's just like when they say, well, women can wear, you can wear trousers, pants. Okay. How come a guy can't wear a skirt? Don't ask me. I never said he couldn't wear a skirt.
Right.
I'm wearing pants. I never said my husband can't wear a skirt if he doesn't want to. If he wants to, I mean, well, he can wear a skirt or a dress. I don't care. It's not going to bother me.
Exactly.
So ridiculous. I mean, you have these ridiculous things going on.
Societal forays. Yeah.
Yeah. But then see, when we go into filming and things like this here in Spain, according to a study that was made 2015, 2016 by this association, Women's Association, SEMA, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Only a 26% of the positions of responsibility in the industry of feature films, we're not talking about documentaries or animation, just feature, are held by women versus 74%, which are held by men. And then a year later, instead of our percentage increasing, it decreased 2%. Yeah. How does this work in the States?
The same.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the same. Matter of fact, I don't have the exact stats for the States, but I would be willing to bet the percentage may be a little bit smaller for women for feature films in this country. It may be more like about 15-16%, maybe. Yeah.
Well, that needs to. The question, the $1 million question: what can we do to change this? Having a 50-50. That's what we can do. Is having a 50-50.
Yes, exactly.
It's as simple as that. It's when you go, instead of having production companies only made of women or only made of men, If you have a 50-50 one and you go and ask for money to make your project, they're not going to be able to say no.
That's right. That's right.
You want men? Okay, here you go. You have 50% of men.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, but we're giving out the money is for you know, genre for women, and oh, no worries, we have another 50% of women.
Mm-hmm.
It's a win-win
It is
because you
weird.
have a 50-50.
Oh, definitely.
When
Yeah.
it's balanced, we all win. So that's
Oh,
the
yeah.
thing.
We
But
don't
I
switch
think it's,
roles.
again, we come back to the being individualistic
Mhm.
and not more of a society. Because
Right.
if I come and I tell you, well, listen, I'm sorry, I could give you the money for your film, but you know what? I want it all to be women in the production company.
Mm-hmm.
And you say, hey guys, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna have to do this alone. No,
Yeah.
it's the same thing as when we're talking about white woman, a black woman. No, then I don't want your money. No,
Mm-hmm.
my
Exactly.
team is 50-50.
Exactly.
Either you take it or you leave it. Great.
And I think a lot of that too, another huge element is about power and
Mm-hmm.
control. He who has the money or she who has the money controls. I think that needs to change.
Yeah.
Because if I have a project that I've written, I understand the characters, they're my characters. I don't want anything changed because of money. I don't want to be forced into, I have to use actor B,
So and so, yeah.
but I've got actor A, which is a better fit because it's my project. This is how I want to do it. You're the financier.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, we have to give a lot of the power over to the executive producer. Some are more involved than others. Some I've heard people just, as executive producer, they just, here's the money. And, you give them the plan of what you have, what you want to do with the project. But they're not in there in the trenches like, oh, I don't like that actor, or I don't want this person, or I don't blah, 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 blah. You don't have to do with any type of personal stuff. But unfortunately, more times than not, you do. The more money's invested, the more that you have to play the puppet role.
Yeah.
And so it has really pushed me to try to come up with funding outside of that model. And it's old and archaic too, because it's heavily male dominated. And so I want to tell a good story. I want to get a good production out there. If it makes oogobs of money, well, great. That is good. And all that goes into it. But it is, the business side of it has morphed into this power and control. These two elements have come to dominate. I think that's another thing that needs to change. As executive producer, do you want to invest in this film because this is what you truly believe in and you want to back it? Or you're executive producer because you're on a power trip? Two totally different things.
True.
Two totally different things. And I've seen projects totally change from what they originally were made to be. Even ones that are high-end film, big money makers. A lot of times when the stories are told, maybe sometimes years later, you get the real deal of what was going on behind the scenes. And you find that, actor so-and-so was slated to have this part, but then executive producer came in and said, nope, don't like him or her. Not a good fit. Sometimes it can ruin the whole project from being a multi-million-dollar project. In some cases it's happened. So there's a lot of things that need to be changed. A lot on that whole,
Oh, yeah.
that line. Yeah.
It's something that I don't understand how okay, obviously I'm going to say this and someone's going to say, well, duh, they're putting in all the money. Yes, but they don't know.
Right. Right.
They don't know of the industry. They don't know how it works. They don't know how to shoot. They don't know how to act. They don't know how to. They don't know how to use the lights. They don't know how to use the sound. They don't know how to put special effects. They don't know.
No.
I'm not going to use bad words, but they don't know shit about this. Okay, and this
Right.
is soft. It's a soft word.
Right.
So how can you ask for power just because you're putting in the money? I once heard from a Spanish woman filmmaker say that her project was to be made either with plan A or plan B. Plan A was that the executive producer wanted to change even the script. And plan B was she waits until she has the money to do it.
Okay.
So she said, I really don't know what to do. I don't know if I should prostitute myself and just go on with the executive producer. Or I don't really know how many years I'm going to have to wait, to get sponsored by some other people or other ways. And well, to be honest, she didn't have to wait so many years. She only waited 3 years. Her film just finished shooting about 2 weeks ago.
Oh, great. Great.
But when I spoke to her about the film and the characters and this and that, unfortunately, she had to play by the music, just like everyone else.
Yeah.
And she had to go with mediatric actors, even for the small roles.
Okay.
And then you say, okay, as I was saying, okay. I was talking to this friend today that was telling me that he was running out of money to live off if work wasn't going to be starting again. And I was telling him, you know what? I'm really surprised because when all this confinement and the COVID started, I thought, okay, this means, okay, there's always a positive and a negative.
Right.
As there is always a negative and a positive. But the positive in this negative was that there are so many projects that are being on hold.
Yes.
That when we are able to start filming, there are going to be so many projects that not everyone's going to be able to do them all, and then everyone's going to have their piece of cake.
That's right.
Even actors that are not mediatric, right?
Right. That's right.
Well, I don't know how it's working in the States, but here in Spain, that's not working.
Yes.
It's still the same actors working.
Right.
And the projects that they can't do immediately because they are shooting, well, the production company will say, don't worry, we will wait for you. And we're back to the beginning.
Back to it. Yes. Yes.
And we all thought that there was going to be so many projects, so much work for everyone. This was going to be the chance for new faces, for people that are not new faces in the sense that they've been actors for more than 20 years. It's just that they're not in the media and they're not famous. So we thought this is going to be, the shooting off for all these people. Well, no. That's not it. It's not working.
Yeah.
But this is how selfish people have become.
Yeah.
That instead of saying, "Hey guys, I'm sorry. I don't know how long it's going to take. I mean, I'm shooting this, and I have another project afterwards. And why don't you give my part to a fellow actress that is free?" Because you're going to have to wait a long time for me.
Yes.
Instead of doing this and pass on the favor to another actor.
Right.
Or it would be just like a film director, the same thing. Hey, oh, no. You would say, no. Oh, yeah, okay, don't worry. Let's see. okay, I'll do this in about 3 weeks. Okay, I can fit in yours for 2 other weeks. And why don't you just say, hey, I have a friend, your other colleague. Why don't you shoot with him? Because I don't know when I'm going to finish.
Right.
Well, no, that's not how it works.
No, no. Yeah.
It's a shame. It's a real shame. Okay, let's go to the fun part now.
Yeah.
What are your favorite genres as a filmmaker, actress, and spectator?
Oh, wow.
Are they different or are they the same?
A lot are the same. You said my favorite film. I would say everything from The Color Purple
Oh, beautiful.
to Godfather 1 and 2. A film called Eve's Bayou. Love that film. And I love those for different reasons. And there's a couple more that not coming to mind real quick, but those probably are my top 3. The cinematography in The Color Purple as well as the script, but the cinematography
It's brutal. It's just
was just phenomenal. But I do feel that where it's a trade-off for that, when you go to The Godfather, both 1 and 2, Al Pacino as an actor and that transition he made from, in 1, he's this young, naive military, he's a soldier and he really doesn't want part of the business and he knows what's happening, but he doesn't want part of it. Then that slow indoctrination into the family as the plot line goes on. And then by the time you reach 2, or even before you get into part 2, towards the end of part 1, he is just immersed in this total 360. His character does 360 like 3 different times.
Yeah.
But the ease of that as an actor, and then in 2, when it gets to Robert De Niro playing the younger version of The Godfather, I thought was excellent, and just the writing of it. And it's not just because it's a gangster movie. A lot of people say, "Oh my God, how could you like this, a gangster movie?" It's more than that to me. It's a story of one family and their life, their history, and what they became involved in, how they made their money, and the good, the bad, and the indifferent. I like movies that showcase that. Eve's Bayou, very different. It had characters in there like the actress Diane Carroll, who played a witch, which I never would thought I would see her cast as a witch, but I loved her in this film. And the film has a lot of flashbacks and things. So it's one of those films you really got to keep up to see what's happening and what's going on. But films like that hold me as a filmmaker, as an artist, as a spectator. I love films that can hold me and I'm just intrigued with the writing and how intricate, and how I always want to learn every time I see a film. I learned a lot from these 3 films in particular. And there's others, of course, but these 3 I can watch over and over and over and over again. And it's almost like I'm seeing something new that I may have missed before. It may be an inflection by the actor, something that they did that I didn't even see the first time I saw the film. There's innuendos in the script I may have missed, things like that. So I love that. these films together, created these films, I feel from the love of, from their passion of what it is. It wasn't just something that was put out there. Like, for instance, Black Panther. A lot of people felt it was going to just, well, it's based off of Marvel Comics. Mm-hmm. How deep and intense could it be? And it really was deep and intense, mm-hmm. especially for people of color. It's why you saw people going to the theaters in African garb and hair and makeup and all these kind of things, because the main character, T'Challa, was something that Black people had been craving to see on screen. Not a villain, not a Black person as a villain, as a drug addict, as something got to do in the ghetto and all this old kind of stuff. You see mm-hmm. that 50 million times. But Black people come from all walks of life. And to see this on screen and it be this powerful image, I think was an excellent film. I didn't care that it was based off a comic thing and that Wakanda is not a real country. I didn't care. It's just that when you start peeling back the layers with these type of films, and you can get a real good understanding. And I watch movies incessantly. I watch movies people would never even consider watching. Oh, it's boring, or oh, that's this, or whatever the case may be. Mm-hmm. And it causes me to a lot of times I will watch by myself, because things I watch as a filmmaker may not interest my family or whatever, as just a person that's watching. So mm-hmm. always learning.
Yep. So as I say, it is known that in this industry, hard work, persistence, having the right contacts, and loads of luck is necessary.
Yes.
What would you tell your past you and your future you?
I would tell my past you that if you think you need 100% patience and endurance, no, it's more like 1,000. Be patient. If you learn to be patient, it's going to come to you, but it's not going to come to you when you want it to. Having the maturity and the patience, I wish I had it some years ago, the maturity to know exactly what it is that I wanted to do as a passion for me. Not what I did for a living, or mm-hmm. not what paid the bills, but being mature enough and patient enough to know these things, and know that when you set your mind to something, that it's not going to be instantaneous. The first film that you do is not going to just, chances are it's not going to just be this miraculous hit, using that as an example. Going back, I would tell my old self that. Be patient.
How about your future you?
My future me? For me to keep in mind that the sky's the limit. That I can go as far as I want to go. That there's nothing hindering me. That I'm a firm believer that our steps are ordered mm-hmm. by whatever entity it is that one believes in. And that to follow that and not be afraid to follow that. Keep going on the path that I'm on. Keep striving, keep working, keep educating myself, and bring others along with me. Bring others along with me. If I can help somebody along the way, if I can bring somebody into the fold, if there's a young person interested in maybe becoming a filmmaker one day, if I can serve as a mentor to them, whatever that may be, that not only help myself, but this was how I was raised. You make the best for yourself, but you also bring others along with you and help others and work with others along. So I want to stay on that path for the future me.
Good. So we are coming to the end now.
All
Have
right.
you got any upcoming projects that you can talk about and that I'll be in? I mean, I have to take my time to sell myself. For God's sake, I mean, it's the only moment I have when I talk to filmmakers is, hey, this is me. You already know me, so.
Oh, most definitely, and I do know you. I've seen your work, and I know that you're good. And I'm not saying that just because we're friends, but you are talented.
Thank you.
I've seen evidence of that, and so. I have things in the making. I'm writing something now, and with one of the characters, I have you in mind for this character,
Thank you.
and so I think you'd be great at it. I don't want to give away too much of it, but just know I'm thinking of that. And that's kind of how I operate, is that depending on the actor, well, let me back up by saying that I don't necessarily always believe in the audition process. There are certain actors I see that I know based off their work. I don't have to audition them. I don't have to put a person through rigors. I already know what level they're at. And I know that working on set with them, that if that person comes prepared and knows their character, then it will come together with good direction as well. I just feel like sometimes the audition process is a little outdated, so to speak. It's not always a clear indicator of what a person can do. And so I study people, and you gave me links to your work, and I could see right away early on. I was like, oh yeah, she's good. And I've seen others that I was like, they have the potential, or they could use some more classes, things like that. It runs the gamut. But I'm working with Andre Walker, that I mentioned before, on a project that he's on, and hopefully this one is going to be pretty big. We're trying to get the funding for it as we speak, and we're just that close, and we're about there. But it's going to be a bigger production than any of mine have been thus far.
So we're talking about a feature film for next year?
It's going to be this one I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we're hoping. It's just trying to get the funding on lock. Once we get that, and now that COVID has been in there, we're going to have to work those things out. But this film is a true story based out of a woman and her husband and their journey to moving to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, I'm trying to say. And they were the first Black family on the block, and it's what they endured and things. Like, it's a very interesting story, not from it is from the perspective of showcasing what happened based off racism, but it delves much deeper than that. And I think it'll be very good. Loretta Burnett, who is the actress that I managed through my COOKIE CARSON production, we're working on new music for her, so we're really excited about that. Can't wait to get it out there. And so we're in the studio with that. So we've got a number of things
Well, yeah, you're
going
quite
that
busy. You're quite busy.
hopefully for
Yeah.
2021 we'll be able to get everything out there and for people to see and enjoy.
That's great. We'll be able to have another interview and talk about the new projects.
Yes, exactly.
So,
I look forward to it.
yeah,
This has been great.
it's been. I hope that next time the other platform is going to work better, because I just like the site-to-site ones. Well, I'm so sorry. Well, not sorry. I'm really sad to say that this has come to an end.
Yeah.
We have come to an end, but I'm happy that we were able, even if it's just in 2 blocks, I'll just put part 1 and part 2, and that's it.
Okay.
Yeah. So Stephanie, it's been a great pleasure having you share your afternoon and your experience with all of us.
Thank you.
I'm really sorry with all this mix and match and just moving from one place to the other, because it's just, but there were many things that needed to be said and needed to be talked and shouted out. So people, they know that here we are, 2 ladies. We are 2 ladies, no matter our color, we are ladies. That we want our place. Our place is here, and our place is a 50-50. We don't want it all for us. We want to share it with you guys.
Exactly.
So, So I wish to thank all of you for your patience during all this coming in and coming out of the interview, and for following not only this interview, but every day following our careers. And you can follow Stephanie's career on her social media that I will be putting in the video, and on the YouTube channel. And well, next Tuesday we'll be having a Spanish actress. She's a new face. She's around my age, and I'm so happy for her, because she's really starting to shoot off with all these feature films. And her name is Rosa Alvarez. She has been known for Malasaña 32 and Voices, which are her 2 latest jobs. And well, all I have to say is, hey, everyone, be very responsible.
Yes.
Stay safe. Use your masks, please.
Yes.
Love one each other. Help one each other. We only have this life to live, no matter whatever everyone else tells you. The certain life you have is this one. The next one, we might have it or not. But this one is a certain one we have. So we have to live it to the most and in the best way. Being respectful with everyone and helping everyone, because today you're here and tomorrow you might be down here. So you never know where you're going to be. So, well, hey, everyone, just stay safe. Have a lovely day. The rest of the day in DC. Have a lovely evening on this side. And everyone have a great weekend.
Definitely.
Okay.
I
shall be talking to you very soon, Stephanie.
Great. Sounds good.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for being here. Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.